In this video, we're going to talk about the order of operations, the order in which you should be simplifying mathematical expressions. And I think all of us have heard this expression used before. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's a way for us to remember the order in which mathematical expressions should be simplified. The P in the please stands for parentheses. So we will always want to simplify all the expressions that are inside the parentheses or any other grouping symbols that you may have, braces, brackets, parentheses. You always want to work from your innermost set of grouping symbols, your innermost parentheses, out. The E from excuse, that represents exponents. So we're going to simplify all expressions that have exponents next. The my dear, the MD, this represents multiplication division. So we're going to perform all the multiplication and division that's found in the expression, and we're going to go in order from left to right. So you want to make a note here that the my dear, those operations have equal priority. Multiplication, division, same priority, go from left to right. And the Aunt Sally represents addition, subtraction. So you want to perform all your addition and subtraction in order from left to right. So now let's go ahead and use the order of operations in our first expression. So you can see here that in expression number 1, we have addition, we have subtraction, there's multiplication, and there's a set of parentheses, right? So with the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, we need to simplify inside the parentheses first. So this parentheses here, this 3 minus 1, we need to perform that operation first. So I'm going to write 6 plus 5, and then instead of the 3 minus 1, I'm going to put 2 because I did the subtraction. Now you're going to notice that we have multiplication here. It's hidden because you don't have a symbol, right? But anytime that you have a number like 5 that's touching a parenthesis in the way that this 5 is next to the parenthesis here with the 2, that means multiplication. So you want to do the multiplication next before this addition. My dear goes before Aunt Sally, right? So we're going to multiply 5 times 2, and that's going to be 10. And we're going to add that to the 6. And our final step is go ahead and add to get 16. So again, we did parentheses, we did multiplication, and then addition. Example number 2. We're going to use our order of operations, which means that we're going to start by simplifying what's inside of this parentheses first. So we've got, let me just rewrite 12 divided by 3 plus, and inside the parentheses we have a 2, and then the exponent 2 squared. Now our next step will be then, of course, to take care of those exponents. So here we get a plus 4. And while we're here, let's go ahead and divide 12 divided by 3. So that's another 4. And so our final answer is 8. There are no parentheses. Did you notice? So we're going to go straight into our exponents. And the exponent is clear here at the end with the 3 squared. So the first step, I'm going to write everything. I like to rewrite my work so that I can follow it. Instead of the 3 squared here, we're going to put 9 because 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so now we have addition. I see division and I see multiplication. Do you see 2 additions, a division, and a multiplication? And so what's next? Well, we've done the exponents, so we have my dear. My dear is multiplication division, and we go in order from left to right. So if you said that this division needs to happen next, you're absolutely right. So now we have 9 plus 15 divided by 5, which is 3, plus, and then we have a multiplication, don't we? We've got this 2 times 9. So we can go ahead and do that multiplication and get 18. All right, so we've done the exponents, the multiplication and division went in order from left to right. And now we're going to do the final addition here. And we have 9 plus 3, which is 12, plus 18. And that's going to give us 30. Let's take a look at number 4. Okay, number 4 does have a set of parentheses. So we're definitely going to look at that set of parentheses first, aren't we? And within that set of parentheses, you may be noticing that we have both a multiplication and a subtraction. So which one do you think goes first? Well, if you said multiplication, you are right. So we're going to go 4 times 3, which is 12, minus 2. Now, we still have some simplifying that we can do inside this parentheses. So the subtraction in the parentheses goes next. Okay, so I'm going to replace the 12 minus 2 with a 10. Okay, so now I'm seeing, do you see both a subtraction and a multiplication? Yes, and the multiplication is going to happen first, right? So the multiplication is here with the 4 that's touching that 10 on the left-hand side there, touching that parentheses. So you're going to go ahead and multiply 4 times 10. So we have 10 minus 40. And now we're going to finish the problem by subtracting 10 minus 40, which gives us a negative 30. So again, we did our parentheses were first, and within our parentheses, we did multiplication, then subtraction. Then we did our multiplication of the 4 times the 10, and finally our subtraction. Do you see we have nested grouping symbols? We have inner parentheses within brackets. You see that? Okay, so we're going to definitely be simplifying this 5 minus a negative 4 first. Let me write that down. 3 and then have a bracket. I have 5 minus a negative 4, and then plus 4. Okay, so you recall that subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive, doing the opposite operation, adding a positive. So really what we have here in the brackets is a 9. 5 plus 4 is 9. So we have 3 and then 9 plus 4. Now this 3 touching that bracket, that tells us that there's a multiplication happening there, right? So 3 times 9, 27. That needs to happen next. And then adding the 4 to a 31 is our last step. Okay, so for problem number 6, which is our last problem, I want you to pause the video and give it a try. And then when you unpause the video, we'll go over what steps you should have done. Let's see if your answer matches mine. Pause your video now. Okay, so we had some nested parentheses inside of brackets. So you should be simplifying this parentheses first. Did you do that? And did you multiply the 4 times 2 to get the 8? And then subtracted the 3, 8 minus 3 to get a 5 next. And then did you multiply the 4 times the 5 here to get the 20? 4 times the 5 to get the 20. Did you add the 20 plus the 3 to get 23? And then finally multiply times 2 to get 46? How'd you do? Well done.